Joe presents Liquid Football, sponsored by Paddy Power.
Hello, welcome to Liquid Football on Joe, together with Paddy Power, the show that takes you inside the dressing room and puts you in the boots of the players. Joining me this week, former Stoke and Republic of Ireland striker Jon Walters, and two people making their Liquid Football debuts this week, former West Ham and Chelsea striker Carlton Cole and former Liverpool and Spain attacker Luis Garcia. Good to see you both. We're going to start, though, on a slight downer, because we're going to talk about Newcastle. It's the result of the weekend, really, in many ways. Thrashed 5-0 at Leicester. Jamal Lascelles, who, even since he's been really young, has come out and called his teammates and been very vocal. He said this one was embarrassing. Steve Bruce said it was complete surrender. They're second from bottom in the table. It's just hard to see, with the way that the club is set up, how they get out of this.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because Mike Ashley, I think everyone's against him at the club anyway, so anyone he appointed, Steve Bruce has come in, seems to have everything against him. Although he's got more points than Rafa probably at this point last year, would that be right?
He certainly was going into this one.
So it's a difficult one, I think. I think for fans, I think players, what you seem to forget is owners and managers are only there for a small part of a club's period. The fans are who the club really belong to, aren't they? So ultimately they'll be there through thick and thin. And it's such a difficult time for them because on the back of that defeat, someone sent off. It's not great.
So I saw Steve Bruce the first day he took over. He was out in Asia at the Premier League Asia Cup, and when he first came, I saw him. He looked very upbeat about it. But then I see him on TV the other day.
But it's hard, isn't it?
That's what I said.
When you don't have anything to be upbeat
about. As soon as he's gone in, it's all against him straight away. And Newcastle, when I was a young boy growing up, I had a Newcastle kit as well. I had the horrible away kit. It was a hand-me-down from someone. Yeah. But whenever Newcastle played over in Liverpool, the fans were unbelievable, always. And that's one thing you can say about Newcastle. The away support is... I'm not too sure about home, because obviously you don't go there much, but the away support is unbelievable.
As passionate as they are in that sense as well, they're not frightened of letting the players and letting the manager know that they're not happy. And they've certainly let the owner know that they're not happy with him. You've played there as well. It's the kind of place where you can almost use that against them in a way.
Yeah, definitely. But I think that since the beginning, when the new manager arrived, it was like a bit trouble. People wasn't happy because they thought that they will go back to old days where things were not going well. And suddenly they found themselves in this position. So I guess this is like something everybody was expecting to arrive to this kind of moment. And the supporters are always there. And like Jon was saying, you go to play the away support is fantastic. But over there, when we used to go there and play, it was fantastic. One of those crowds that you want to go and show off and try to play well and try to do a good game, because it's a beautiful stadium. But at the end, when the results are not arriving, is what happened. The supporters can keep going, but there arrive a moment where they think that they are not here out and they want something different, but the club doesn't do that. And at the moment that the results are not arriving, everything is against.
So how do you even start to fix that? Do the players feel a responsibility? Because if you go out and win, and when the support were behind Rafa Benitez, then they were behind the players because it was his choice of team. But ultimately, if the players go out and win, you can bring that side of the club together. Yeah,
look, it's a results game at the end of the day, and if you're not getting the results, the fans are going to turn on you either way. I don't think Steve Bruce is not going out there to lose, is he? Like, he wants the best for the club. But
he's a Newcastle fan.
Yeah,
I know lots of people go to clubs and say, I grew up. But he
used to go to the matches, didn't he, when he was younger?
Yeah, and you got to understand as well that the fans, obviously, they didn't want him only because he was at Sunderland.
And Mike Ashley's appointment probably as well.
Yeah, Mike Ashley's appointment.
So nothing. So was Rafa.
But to them, it's not progression. It's consolidation. And they want to progress in the league, you know what I mean? They want to go higher up the table, when I don't think they see Steve Bruce as that guy to do so. At the same time, the fans they've got to look at it as well and say, listen, we need to get behind this team, because the only thing that they're going to be doing now is making the team a bit more. It's going to be harder to play for Newcastle, because like I was in a relegation battle myself. And I swear down, it's not the nicest place to be. And you got the fans play a massive role they're the 12th player, the 12th man. And if they keep on at the manager, keeping at the players, it's only going to look bleak for them at the end of the season.
Steve Bruce will be very aware of the club and the way that it's set up and the way that Newcastle fans feel at the moment. The latest odds on relegation from the Premier League: Newcastle 11-10 on, Aston Villa 6-5, Norwich 7-5, Watford 6-4, Sheffield United 15-8, and Brighton 21-10. Now, as much as Steve Bruce is under pressure at Newcastle, still a Premier League side, regardless of what happens later on in the season. But Nathan Jones at Stoke, you know the club, and there's been so much expectation. Since they were relegated, there was an expectation, first of all, that they bounced back. That didn't work out for them. It's not worked out under a couple of different managers. And now Nathan Jones is in there. He said, though, I worked through the week, I trust it. It will stand me in good stead for the rest of my life. All of which seems reasonable for a manager. But they then went on to say, I'd love to play under me. It's a wonderful way of training, of playing, of values. If you're in a dressing room that isn't winning and your manager says that, are you thinking, maybe?
To be fair, Stoke is the club I've got the most affinity with, and I don't want to... I went in a couple of weeks ago to speak to the under-18s, and I met Nathan for the first time. He was a lovely guy, and I was with all the staff there, and it's not gone well for Stoke.
Can you put your finger on why? Because it hasn't gone well for a while, and it's been under different managers and different styles of management.
They've tried everything, haven't they? They had Gary Rowett, Paul Lambert, and then now Nathan Jones. So they tried old hands. They tried someone that's had no budget and given them a bit of budget, and then obviously someone that's done really well at Luton. So, ultimately at a club, I always say, the owners and fans' expectations versus results delivered will be what happens to the manager, no matter what good work you're doing in the background or anything. And at the moment, and they got a massive match this week with Huddersfield, but at the moment they're just really struggling. Whether it's, I don't know whether I went to the match the other night, and it's just whether they missed that edge. There was a couple of mistakes, but I don't know.
But Nathan Jones backing his own management, so I suppose you have to have that in you if you're a manager. You have to absolutely believe in what you do. Who've been the best managers? What's the best quality that you've ever experienced under a manager?
Well, different ways of managing, isn't it? I think on these days it's not. People say about the coach because he's got a system 4-3, 2-1, 4-4-4-4. They say so many things, but at the end it's about managing what you do with your players, the way you treat them, the way you make them understand your way of playing. And of course, for me, Rafa Benitez was very important because I met him when I was very young. He knew that I had potential, but that it needed to be polished, it needed to be worked on, and he helped me. I was a striker. I used to play in the academy of Barcelona, and I played the same way for the next 3 years. And he decided that no, you cannot play as a striker. You have to play on the wing. And just to know that that he needed to add me some things, helped me so much in my career. And of course, I was helping him because after when he signed me for Liverpool, I could play in 4 or 5 different positions. And that's not something that you can find everywhere. A player who can move from one side to the side to play in the hole, to play up front. And I think he was like kind of making a new play on me. And of course, that was very, very important. And then the way he was so detailed, I think is very important these days, just to control every single thing. I was with Frank Rijkaard in Barcelona, and it was exactly the same. He was so detailed. Listen, guys, when we were going to train, we were struggling defense. And one day he came to train and he said, okay, from now on, when we are working on a long pitch, we got 3 seconds to get back to defense. So we were suddenly playing 11v11, and he whistled, and you have 3 seconds to be in your position, in your defending position. And just that kind of stuff, like change something into the training, made us a lot stronger. We didn't lose any game from January to June in the second part. So I think be detailed on these days is quite very important.
That personal involvement from Rafa Benitez is interesting, because there's other players who've played for him said actually that isn't really what he does. He isn't the kind of manager who has close relationships with all his players, but he seems to have with you. Yeah.
I think we met very young. He was used to work with the academy of Real Madrid. And at that time, probably he kind of felt the same way, and he took me and said, "Listen, it's good to do this." He always pushed me. I'm not gonna say that he was very friendly all the time. When I signed for Liverpool, exactly the same. He was trying to put myself in front of some other players, showing them that he signed me, but he signed me because some things, not because he want me to be there. So he kind of is that kind of manager who gets 100% of every player. He push you and squeeze you until you give 100%. And sometimes he works with some players, but the other side is that you can find players who are not as open to be squeezed, and then is when you can have some trouble.
That's it. It's finding the right manager for you.
I think the biggest thing the managers now is man management.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on in football now. Different. 10 years ago, you would have said the Premier League, there wasn't as many, international players and things like that. Now it's littered. There's not many English players in there. So there's so many different nationalities, religions, throw social media into the mix. And it's the managers that are the best man managers, I think, that I've worked with that are the best ones, that the players, react to the most. I think there's sort of the old school way of doing things. You'll do it this way and I'll have a go at you and that's it. But I think it's treating each individual, like how Rafa was with you wasn't the same with someone else. But that's probably how he got the best out of you.
Yep.
So it's recognising that, I think, as well. And I think as a manager, the honest ones, the ones that are honest, because if you're not honest with your players, and then something happens, and that trust goes as well. I think that's the main thing. You've got to be so honest with your players. And I've been with managers that are and that aren't. And I wrote a list down before of the managers I've played. So.
How many's on there?
It's a long list now. I had Sam Allardyce.
Yeah.
But I'm a youth team at Blackburn. Sam Allardyce at Bolton. I had Peter Taylor, who was the England manager at Hull. Dennis Smith, who was an old Stoke player. Mark Wright, who was the ex-England player. Then to Ipswich, you had Jim Magilton, who was really good. Roy Keane.
Did you play under him?
Played under Jim Magilton, yeah.
No, I was making a Roy Keane joke.
No, Roy Keane. Do you know what? But I've said this before about Roy Keane. I enjoyed his honesty.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll take it too far, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that he was straight down line honest, because I had managers that weren't. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you've got to be like that. There's probably a level to do it to, but you've got to be like that. So then
who else?
Keeps going. Then it goes Tony Pulis at Stoke, which is probably, he had a way of playing. And I had Giovanni Trapattoni at Ireland and Martin O'Neill with Ireland, and then Mark Hughes and then Sean Dyche. And everyone says, who's your best and who's your worst? But I always say, every manager's different. There's no good way and bad way.
It depends if you're on the pitch or not.
But it's always better if you're playing, but every manager's different.
That you look back and think they were best for me.
Who got the best out of you?
Well, my best time was at Stoke, but you might say you enjoyed your football more somewhere else, but I'll always go back to Stoke and with Ireland, but they were so contrasting styles were so different that you wouldn't believe. Like Trapattoni was so the Italian way, it was like so much shape and basic. It was so basic. It was unbelievable, and you would never have thought that going into the camp. You would have thought, right, he'll be this and that, and he's won everything, hasn't he, as a manager and a player. So, but the best ones were the ones that would recognise each individual player.
But what do you think? Because you're encouraging the guys along with this. I get the feeling there's someone who works.
I'm the same as Lewis and John. Yeah. Right? I believe in man management, and for me, the best man management I've ever been under would be Sam Allardyce, another one, and Gianfranco Zola, because Zola knew. I played with him at Chelsea when I was coming through the ranks, and he knew what I could do, and he knew how to get the best out of me. Plus, he was a striker, so actually he was fitting. So when he did come to West Ham as a manager, I just knew that this is going to fit, because not only is he a nice person, but he'll coax the best out of you, because he believes in even the lesser players, and he'll believe that he can improve a player. So he was more about developing the player and developing personalities, and he definitely made an impact in my career.
And yet it didn't necessarily work out that well for him. So what? Yeah. So he wasn't cutthroat.
He wasn't the problem. He wasn't cutthroat enough. Do you know what I mean? He was a nice person. So when it was good, it was really good. But when the pressure started coming on, that's not his personality. He couldn't deal with that the way like another manager would, you know, and ride the wave. And I think definitely for me, he got the best out of me. But then when you look at it overall, Jose Mourinho, he just brought a different style to England, I think. when you first come in, even like the pre-season was a bit crazy because we're always, in pre-season we're always running. First day you come in, it's just like you just know I'm going to run now.
You know what's
like,
coming.
It's like you're dreading it for the 6 weeks holidays you've got off. But when he come in with his pen and pad and his few of his
the minions.
Yeah, his minions. They've set out cones. I'm thinking, what the hell is this? What sort of running is this?
Yeah.
Like, I've never seen this sort of running before. Because usually we just running around pitches and all that, 10 and 10. But then I seen him, and then we got the balls out the first day. And
That was heaven, huh?
Yeah,
See
I
the
was
balls
thinking,
there.
I was like Mark Hughes at Stoke, so we didn't do any running pre-season.
yeah,
The longest run was like a stride.
yeah,
It was like
yeah,
for 5-10 minutes. That was it. But it was never. It was more than 80% of your heart rate,
Yeah.
and the fittest I've ever felt.
Yeah.
It was all ball work. It was brilliant. So all the lads bought into it because it was enjoyable.
Yeah, that's how he came into the team, and that's how he bought the boys. He just bought because you just have to bring balls
enjoyable,
out on the
isn't it?
first day. And it's a
People
joy.
talk about Mourinho in those early days, especially, and he had a sort of, I mean,
An aura,
men,
didn't he? Yeah,
but for men, especially like men would just kind of fall in love with him. They sort of would go a bit starry,
Because he was
particularly
honest.
those early days.
Because he, as you said, because he was just honest. Even in the camera, he'll just say how it is.
Yeah.
And he'll protect his players to the tilt. Like no matter
That's what you can never throw your players. You can
Yeah.
never go against your players. For me, I think you've
Yeah.
always got to protect it. I think you can in the changing room.
Yeah.
I think when you come out, you can't.
Yeah.
For me, I've always felt that because I think once you start doing that, it's a dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a slippery path then because
Is that last throw of the dice? If you see a manager doing that, are you thinking, that's it now? They're probably gonna be gone quite quickly.
it could be. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but for
It's
me,
kind of making excuses, huh?
Yeah.
Things are not going
Yeah.
well. You try everything. Yeah, we try this, we try that. The last
Ultimately, it's
bullet in the gun is, these guys are not running.
Ultimately, it's the players, but you've got to take accountability. You're the manager now. A manager of a football club is different than a manager of a business. You're not. Say the manager of business is usually the
You're
highest
usually
paid.
not. Yes, I was going to say you're usually not getting
Usually
as much
not.
money.
Some managers are, but usually not. It's completely different. So you don't. It's not the same.
yeah, you'll
But,
control the
but
egos.
there's got to be accountability. Always goes to the manager because the players.
It's easier to
the
change
right-
one manager
Yeah.
than 25 in a
But
squad. Isn't
what I
it?
don't get sometimes is managers forget what. Well, not all managers were players, but managers that were players forget very quickly what it was like being a player, and that used to baffle
Yeah.
players in the change.
Yeah.
Why are we the stupid things like very very small things like why are we doing it? Why
Yeah,
are you making us do that?
definitely, yeah.
And you forget.
Yeah.
But the more
Well, what in what way? What kinds of things would managers do that makes you think you just don't
Go on.
remember?
Well, just like talking to the player. Like if you dropped a player,
be honest.
just be honest and say why you don't try and blank it out and say, "Oh, talk to me later." Then you still don't give a player the opportunity to talk to you. Just those little things, like just being honest, is what we expect as players. And if you're a manager and that has played before, you already know how that feels. So why would you want to put another player in your team down like that? Because it's only going to affect you in the long run.
But the more I've been doing media stuff for a while now, but the more I've been doing media bits, the more I miss the football side, and I want to get back into it as well.
Thanks.
And no, do you know what I mean? The more
Yeah.
it's because I think as a player, you have the fulfilment of being a player. You have a target and there's an aim with it.
Yeah.
And I think for all those reasons, managing wise as well, I wouldn't want to. Well, you'd have to learn. I'd like to go to somewhere and learn at each age group to learn a club, because I think you don't just need to know first team. You need to know 18s, 23s,
All the whole
16s, all the
things.
way down to 10s.
Yes.
Because if you can manage a 10-year-old and a 15-year-old, I think you can manage an adult.
Yeah.
There's different ways of getting. You're at West Ham now, aren't you?
Yeah,
So there's different ways of getting the best out of people. I think if you find that way, I think I'd enjoy it. I think having a go at that, I'd enjoy doing it. And I said, you're at West Ham. What's it like working with the?
Yeah, well, I went in at the under-18s. I was shadowing Jack Collison, and Mark Phillips, who was the lead coach at the time. So I went in and I got asked to come in to see how it is and everything, and do a bit of mentoring as well. Then one thing led to another, and now I'm a full-time coach. But it's one of those things that I didn't see, like after your career, I was like, I just want to get away from football. Like I don't really want to be involved in it like that. just want to just be.
That's where I was. Last
Yeah,
year,
just want to be going on holidays and that. But
Maybe
then
you need the break in
It's
your
not
head.
that.
No, it's not that.
It's needed.
Yeah,
The break is needed.
the break is definitely needed. So, but my break is when I went to play in other countries, really, because that was my break away from London. I'd never leave London. But when I went to other countries, I saw other stuff that like coaching was lacking over there as well, and little bits and bobs. And I started to do a little bit over there while I was playing, trying to coach my teammates, because obviously I was the experienced pro. So I started to get a knack of it then. And then when I came to England, obviously West Ham, they opened the door to me to come in and help with the team over there. And just one thing led to another, as I said, and now I've got a full-time job there. But to work with the kids, and as you said, the long-term goal is to manage someone's first team. So, but yeah, you do have to work your way into that, because if you can manage...
Some people go in straight away, though. Some people go in, and it's like, we had Jimmy Jones at Ipswich. Like we played unbelievable football, but I think he was just finished playing, and he came straight into manager, not even player manager, went straight in. And I think he was still that player inside, and he was so passionate about it. But we were playing like unbelievable football. It was brilliant to play for, but to play for him. So it can happen.
Yeah,
it does
happen.
Yeah, it does happen. But
that idea of mentoring is an interesting one, not just for players and sort of being that person, if the manager has forgotten what it's like to play, being that person who says, I remember it straight away. But even for managers to have somebody that they can go to, because someone was saying about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer the other day, well, this is really the first time he's been into a press conference regularly and had really difficult questions put at him.
He would have had that as a player, though. He would have had similar questions as a player.
But it's different when you're
Once
the
in a while.
manager. How hard was it being a Man United player? How many difficult results did they have?
Well, he's managed though. He's managed, but obviously Manchester United is a different club. He was in Norway, was he?
Yeah,
was he in Norway?
Molde, yeah.
So
my point is just that he'll find himself in, and it won't necessarily be those man management coaching situations that he will have had. There will be circumstances that are specific. One, to being Man United manager, and two, to going through high profile.
I think it's surrounding yourself with good people.
Yeah,
I think
that's
if I was to go in somewhere,
got to choose
you got to choose your staff, and I think you have to have someone that has to have experience and someone you trust.
Yeah.
But you got to have a plan together, what you're going to do, and your philosophy, and how you're going to play. And I think that's really important to surround yourself with good people as well.
And having someone who's seen it before, like you were saying, it might be an ex-player, but if you've got someone like Rafa Benitez, whose history is in coaching, it's not that he's been in your position before, but he will have worked with people who've been in that position before, who've been a young player with developing talent.
No, definitely. I think it was important for him, and he was assistant coach when. I don't know if he was Del Bosque when he was the first team of Real Madrid. So he was already coaching and learning the way. After he will have his own way or his own philosophy. But yeah, that process of being at the academy of Real Madrid for 4 or 5 years that he was, and a few small coaching in, I think it was Osasuna in second division, Extremadura in second division, helped him to improve his management. I remember when he was in Tenerife, after Tenerife went to Valencia, normally he keeps in touch with the players he's been, and he's asking for players. Listen, I would like to, have you been with him?
Yeah.
Yes. How is he? How is their personality? He trains well. When he came to England, exactly the same. Listen, and do you know him? Have you played with? Yes, okay. Now he's not calling me anymore, probably because I must done something bad. No, but he always tried to keep people around him that can help him, and he can learn a little bit. So I think, again, it's about details.
It's networking.
It's
like networking, the same thing. You got to keep your contacts open, and people, because everybody's around you to help, really, because everyone wants to help and see you succeed.
Of course you do.
So you just got to keep everyone on a good page, and don't pee everybody off. You know what I mean? So, but I think as well, I think with coaching and managing, you have to learn on the job, especially if you're new. So there's going to be some experiences, even as a player, that you've never been through before.
Learn on your feet, isn't it?
Yeah, and it depends how you take it. Like you could either sink or swim, you know. And the guys that have got a bit about themselves, they swim, and then they start surfing.
Yeah. I like that analogy. There'll be a separate thing that goes out across Joe's social media platforms on Jose Mourinho, because he's signed with Paddy Power. And we're going to do something a little bit later on that will go out separately. But quick word on him, because we'll go back to various moments in his career that are mentioned throughout the advert that he's made with them. But I mean, you talked about him briefly as a manager, but he had that honesty with players, but also, like you said, maybe Zola lacked the cutthroat aspect of it. You get the feeling that Mourinho wouldn't be lacking in that, would he?
Did he do anything to annoy you, Carlton?
He's done a few things, actually. But one I won't touch on. But this is I'll tell you a story. This is the type of guy he is. But he's a psychologist. You got to understand about him. So I think we just I wasn't in the squad. We just travelled up to Liverpool and we'd lost, I think, 4-0 or something. And then it was on a Saturday afternoon, and then travelled back down. I was at home. I was nothing to do with the game, and we had training on the Sunday, so everyone had to come in. Everyone was down, obviously, and then we had a meeting. So everyone was thinking, meeting before training. Here we go. Like, everyone's gonna get battered, and then everyone was in there. I remember I was sitting in the seat. I was the first in, and then he walked in, and then everyone followed in as well, and I was right in the corner. But what he done right there and then was baffled everybody. So he started caning me, like me. I had nothing to do with it. I wasn't even there. Yeah. But he just started caning me and saying, "Oh, Carlton, you're a letdown. You're not gonna make it to the level you're supposed to." Just the whole meeting was about me. Yeah. So I'm thinking, wow, I'm angry now, and I can't say nothing. Obviously, I was still young. And
I'd love to have seen your face when you sit down thinking everyone else is getting in trouble here.
I just didn't understand what was going on, and everywhere I looked behind me, I saw Makelele's face. He was like, like he was proper. I remember his face to this day, what he looked like. So I was thinking, oh gosh, I'm getting it here for no reason. There was nothing to do with me. So anyway, I'm angry. I've gone out. We've gone out to train now, but I tell you what, I had the best training session in my whole career. Like, I was like 2 times better than Didier Drogba. Do you know what I mean? I was unreal. And then at the end, he says, "See, this is what you can do." I was like, "Come on, you didn't mean that." Like, you're just trying to like take all the attention away from the team, which he did do, because everyone wasn't focusing on that no more. I had to take the hit, but I trained well. Do you know what I mean? So he's just got his methods that are a bit different to everybody else.
That's very clever, yeah.
And these are the little things. It's only now I realise how deep this guy is. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, he's a proper sports psychologist.
It's the moment you've all been waiting for. It is the Paddy Power Challenge. One of you will get the chance to win £250 for the charity of your choice and a £250 bet with Paddy Power. Wes Brown managed to win last week. He successfully got Wayne Rooney up on FaceTime, and he is the first person to have a successful bet as well after Liverpool beat Sheffield United. Right, it's time for this week's Paddy Power Challenge. Wes Brown won last week and his bet won. He picked Liverpool to beat Sheffield United, so just got the winning bet. This week, it's win, lose or draw. Carlton, you and I are in a team together. I'm really sorry. Luis and John also in a team together. 2 minutes each to draw a current or past manager or player. I'll go first because I'm already up.
Carlton's looking
even though
at your card
I
there.
can't draw. Carlton, I can't draw. Let's start the time now.
Top corner.
Top corner. David Beckham.
Oh my
Correct.
God.
Is the right answer. That's an easy one.
I like Beckham again. It's David Beckham again.
Same drawing.
Snyder. Snyder.
Wesley Snyder. No, someone's put a bit of beef on after finishing playing. I think.
Washing machine up there. What is that?
It's a flag.
It's a flag.
It's a flag. Ronaldo.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, God.
The best Ronaldo.
What's that? Is that a dolphin?
What is that? Ronnie. Oh, I can see that. That's a good one. That's a good drawing.
Someone's sniffing someone's bum.
Someone is biting something, isn't it?
Oh, Luis Suarez.
Oh my God. Sorry.
That's a
massive
Big guy, man. Sam Allardyce.
That's
There's a few players.
Strongman. Oh, Akinfenwa.
Yes.
Oh,
No way. No way.
Oh.
I shouldn't say about Suarez. 6 and a 4.
5 seconds. What have we got? Pogba.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Swap
Did you
over.
get it in
You gotta
time?
swap over.
Yeah.
We've got 5 on the board so far.
Yeah.
Your time starts. 3, 2, 1, go. So what? Right.
Take your time.
Oh,
Big
so
Michael Jackson.
Is it cashew nut? No, it's hair. Matteo Guendouzi. Are
Yeah.
they
Big
dark
nose.
eyes or dark?
He's got
dark eyes.
some
Is it
brows
Marianne
on
Fellaini?
Yeah.
Marianne
Fellaini.
Fellaini. Waves.
Yeah.
Wait, and
Wind.
they are waves.
Wind.
Okay.
Waves,
Waves.
Rooney.
Or
A player with big hands. A goalkeeper with a goalkeeper in the
Oh,
David Seaman.
Yeah.
is
What is that? It's like a balloon.
It's a balloon. Yeah,
It's a
balloon.
circle on a
Yeah.
stick.
The big head, that.
It's the one,
Oh, I
has he
know
got-
who
has
it
he
is.
got a
I know
bib?
who it is.
A vest. A bib. Mario Balotelli.
Yes.
Some haircut he's got on there, isn't it?
Is that a hand?
I don't know if
What is that? What are you drawing?
It looks like a crab.
No.
What is it?
All right, do you know what?
Is he diving?
Samberin.
And time.
Time.
Who was it?
Time.
Paolo Di Canio trying to make him pushing the referee.
Yeah. Oh, that would have. If you'd
what was the
finished
first
it, I
one?
might have
That
got
one
that.
was. I was trying to draw a scorpion. That's supposed to be a scorpion.
Was it a guitar?
Yeah, that. Yeah,
Was it?
it was a
Yeah,
guitar.
yeah.
Right.
8
Yep.
is your target.
Come on.
Go.
Come on. Is a badge? Is a
Seems like
is a Liverpool badge? Okay.
Oh, I know
Mo
who
Salah.
that is.
We
So
got Salah.
you're doing a second one on the same
Liverpool
page?
as well. Nice. That's a big teeth.
It's Kloppy.
Striker? Is a striker? No, Firmino, no. Mane? Firmino?
Yeah.
Firmino, fantastic. Yes, got big teeth too. Another Liverpool one. Fantastic. Let's go. Van Dijk? Alisson? Long legs. It's a midfielder.
Nope.
A striker?
Yep.
Origi?
I know who it is now. Oh, you can't do numbers, letters.
Mane?
Was it Crouchy?
Man, God, is it Crouch? Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Oh my God. Yo, what is that? Is a play? It's
Is it
like,
an alien?
Oh no, it's straight.
Is it an alien? Oh, I know who that is.
it's a strike. I don't know. Is that? Yeah, it's an England badge. It's an England badge. Strike. Rooney. Where's Rooney?
God.
What? Let's see. Are you drawing another badge?
It's a unibrow.
It's a unibrow.
As well. And small
What is got it?
hands.
It's like a superhero.
Cantona.
Hands up.
Cantona.
I think that
Did
was
I get
just
it?
in Cantona.
Fantastic.
That was
Yeah.
it.
We have that. We
Well
love
done.
that.
Let's go for it.
So you need
we can make
4
it.
to draw.
4 to draw.
5 to win.
Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Are they goggles?
They goggles. Oh, Edgar Davids.
I got that bit.
Oh, yeah.
yes. That's handball.
I know who that is. I know who that
Maradona.
is. I know what.
Castle.
It's so
I know
good.
it.
This
I know
one.
it.
Oh, no, I've gone. Oh, Shearer. Jesus Christ, Alan Shearer, yeah, easy. That's a wall. So he's obviously very good at free kicks. Ronaldo?
No.
Cristiano Ronaldo? Roberto Carlos?
De Roberto Carlos.
Oh, yes.
You're
Fantastic.
good.
One more.
This
We
is-
got a minute.
We said. Oh my God.
That's Scorpion again.
What is that?
Oh my God.
He's got two muscles. Do you have muscles? Is
Is it 2 more to draw?
Liverpool. Oh, yes. Centre half, Van Dijk.
Van Dijk.
Oh, brilliant. Look at that back four. It's easy, isn't it?
It's like generic Van Dijk. And this one to draw. What?
Right midfield.
It looks like is it a mouse hole?
It's a Bamiyang's mask, isn't it?
I thought that was-
Ronaldo, cat.
It's a pitch.
My-
Ah,
What is it?
time up.
My God, I break it.
Time up.
Who is a manager?
And a cat.
A
Devil.
cat. Devil.
Cat, Alex Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Yeah.
So we drew. So that's
Is it 4-4?
Yeah.
Rock, paper,
8,
scissors.
8.
We're gonna-
So we're going to play rock, paper, scissors. So you two, middle
For
of
us?
it. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, go.
Oh my.
Oh,
done,
we
paper,
won.
I thought he's massive. He's gonna try to punch him or something like that.
I don't want to make a big deal out of it, but we did win.
Yeah.
So we get the bet. Which charities do you want to pick?
I'm gonna go because it's coming up to Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'm gonna go for breast cancer now.
Okay, perfect. And the bet is going to... So we've got £250 from Paddy Power anyway that's going to go there, and a £250 bet to go on... What have we looked at?
I think I'm gonna go with Tottenham away to Brighton.
Because they haven't won away
No,
since
they haven't.
January.
Yeah, so I think it's a
It's
good
been
bet.
a really long... Yeah, really
What's
long
the odds
streak.
on that? I think it's 5 to 6.
5 to 6 for Tottenham
Yeah.
to win at Brighton to end their away streak. Yeah.
So I'm going to go for that.
All right.
Tottenham win.
This is Liquid Football on Joe, together with Paddy Power. I'm Kelly Cates, and alongside me, Jon Walters, Carlton Cole and Luis Garcia. If you like what you see and hear, then please leave us a nice review on YouTube and on iTunes. This week, we're bringing you a brand new show from Joe.
My day job is helping businesses thrive through disruption. This show is not about business. It's about people who go from nothing, a seed of an idea, something that everybody thinks is completely impossible, and build it into this massive business. There are 1,000 different ways to be a huge success. One of the most interesting things that we're learning is that how people are failing is almost as important as how they succeed. In fact, it's integral. It's business. Pioneers is having really honest conversations with people, talking about their business, their objectives, their purpose, whether they're just out to make a ton of money and then quit, or whether they really want to change the world. Pioneers on Joe. Listen to it, download it, watch it. I had nothing profound to say.
You've been watching Pioneers, together with Open Money. Manage it, save it, invest it.
Pioneers with John Amici will be available from Thursday, the 3rd of October. You can watch it on YouTube or download it from your usual podcast provider. And remember to check out Joe's other shows as well, TKO with Carl Frampton and House of Rugby with James Haskell. Okay. Okay, I'm going to turn you up a little bit as well. Okay, and then that's it. That's it. This is all nice and relaxed. And I do like doing this. I always start and I'm like, I wonder where it's going to go. And then you end up chatting about something completely different and just going to go, no, it's good.
That's football.
Yeah, exactly.
Through the question, we'll answer whatever.
Yeah, I know. It's so nice.
We've all got a lot to say.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Right. Everton beaten 3-1 at home by... I thought we were just going to do it quickly. I thought you meant just fly through it. Okay. We've got lots of time. We don't need to do all the topics. Unai Emery has named Granit Xhaka as Arsenal captain after the players had a vote. Hasn't gone down particularly well with the fans. His popularity with them has dipped, let's say, over the last year or so. First of all, what do you think about players voting for the captain?
Fair to say, the ones are in with the. It's gonna be with them during the training, in the dressing rooms, the one they know. At the end, sometimes in the clubs, is because of the time they spend in the club, because they've been there 10 years or 15 years, and they suddenly receive the armband, and sometimes they even won it. They are there because they are fantastic players, and I can recall, for example, in Barcelona, Iniesta. You can see that he's not a player who likes to be on the spotlight or likes to be giving speeches or trying to push players. He's another kind of player. He's a leader, but he's not a leader who is going to try to push you to do things. And, suddenly he found himself with an armband on his arm. So, yeah, it's different kind of players. I like that the players pick the captain.
None of you have ever done it, though, have you? Voted for a captain?
No, I haven't.
No.
I don't think I have. I'm sure there's
Have you
something...
ever been asked for your opinion on like if a manager's think, if you've got a manager you're close to and you're a senior player, be consulted? Is that a normal thing to do?
Sometimes you have a senior group of like 3 or 4
Yeah.
players where the manager will bring them in and what do you think about this? What can we do about this? But the captain, sometimes it's the captain's who the manager has a good relationship
Well,
with.
that's what I was going to say. Surely in that group is going to be the captain.
The captain's there, but sometimes it's someone that the manager has. It's a link between the team and the manager. But sometimes it's someone like they voted for it, so it's someone that the players feel like that's their leader.
Yeah.
No, if you watch Xhaka play, whenever there's trouble on the pitch, he's the first one sticking up for his players. And as a player, you might not see that as a fan, but I notice all these things as a player. So you see that, and he's the one that sticks up for all the young lads and everyone else. He's the first one in, no matter if they're right or wrong. He's in straight at them, and that goes a long way. Yeah. And he has I think he's 27, 28, and he's got 70 or 80 caps as well for Switzerland. That's not easy. So he's played at a high level. Switzerland were doing well in the tournaments he's been in. He's a £30 million move. So he's a well-respected player. And he might not have had the best of times, and it's not always the best player that's going to be captain either. Sometimes it's a leader in the dressing room, and he might be vocal. That doesn't get heard. You know, the fans don't see small things like that. But as a player, I see the small things that go on. But
surely if a player's a leader, they're going to be a leader in the dressing room anyway. Does it matter who's captain?
No, it does matter because you got to have someone that can deal with the press, deal with the manager. So obviously, as a player, I want my voice heard in a certain way, even to the board as well. Sometimes when you're negotiating your bonus,
The captain always goes in.
the captain always goes in.
Yeah, you've got to be strong, haven't you?
So they've got to be strong and just not take no for an answer. So they're like your agent.
Yeah.
They're actually like your agent.
Yeah.
So because they're representing you. So you want to be picking somebody that's got something about themselves. But at the same time, like I had when was with Sam Allardyce. Sam Allardyce brought Kevin Nolan in, and that was his go-to guy. And everyone understood that was going to happen anyway. So he was our new signing, and he was made captain straight away. Mind you, we did just get relegated, so the captain beforehand wasn't working, obviously. But yeah, it just made sense for and then he come in as well, and then he was really good with the lads. He settled in really quick with the lads as well, and he made the stuff within the camp really. It really gelled with him, so it just worked out for everybody there.
Yeah, so he's kind of brought in his own man to be a link between a whole new group of players. And there's also players like Steven Gerrard, where they sort of represent something about the club that a manager can tap into as well.
Yeah, but Stevie is like the prototype of leader, of captain. It's like easy to see on him because he's on the pitch, he's showing every single day. It doesn't matter if things are going well or bad, he's always there. If he's a fight, like you were saying, he's always there. And in the dressing room, and he's not that kind of player who is going to be all the time talking and everything, but it's true that he will come to you and he will talk to you to say, listen, he knew when I arrived that my English wasn't very good. But he cried me a couple of times and listen, how you feeling? Comes to you, how is your family? That is very important for a player who comes from a different country.
I think that'll go in. That's why he'll go and do well in management, because he'll take the same qualities going in. It's like managing the players.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He get that closeness to the players, like when he was a captain for the team. And these kind of small things to talk to the players, shout when he has to shout, or talk to the manager, is the things that you will see. I remember once suddenly he decided to make a dinner. Listen, guys, let's go for a dinner. We're going to have a dinner all together with family and everything. We didn't have to do it, but he wanted to get the team closer. We were, I think, 15, 16 different nationalities in the team. You can imagine different food, culture, languages. And he wanted to bring us all together.
What did you eat?
I can't remember, but a kind of English food, like roast beef, and I think it was
like a Sunday lunch kind of thing.
Similar thing. It was a dinner. I remember it was a dinner, and we had a good time. I think it was the first time that I saw Crouchy doing the roast.
And you had a preview
After a few beers, was it?
Yeah, I think so. But I think it was very important for everybody just to get together. The things weren't going in the best way. It was 2006. We were kicked out from Champions League from I think it was Benfica, and we needed that get back together again because we had a fantastic connection during that period with winning 2005 Champions League and a couple more trophies. But you can easily lose all that in just a couple of games. So it was needed to get back together, and well, he decided to do it.
Are there any players that you've played with who it really, not the players who are very proud to be captains, because I can understand that, but players who really matters to them, that they kind of want to be a little bit head boy about it?
He's laughing.
I've got one straight.
Go on.
He's my mate though.
Yeah.
Right, he's not going to actually like this. Well, I'm going to have to say it. Nigel Reo-Coker.
Really?
Yeah, he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Armband on.
He loved it. He just like coming out of the Premier League on live TV under the
youth
lights.
levels as well, didn't he?
Yeah. So, but he is actually a good captain. He was actually a good captain. He done his job well. He led by example on the pitch, done the press well as well, tried to sort out the lads with the manager and have that connection and the bond. So he done his job, but he absolutely milked it.
Yeah, if there'd been an election and a vote, he'd have campaigned.
Yeah, he's there. He would have been voting for himself. Right? So yes, I should get this role.
Did you vote for anybody who really just?
Was there anyone that really wanted it?
Yeah.
I don't think so. No. I'm trying to think now.
Would you have been suspicious of someone who was?
Yeah, if someone was. The lads that like the attention, don't you? And exactly what you just said then. But I don't think so. Everyone was sort of there. Like at Stoke, it was Ryan who'd been there for years, who came up. Robbie Keane with Ireland, Seamus Coleman took over from him, and just like the natural sort of leaders. Sometimes you see which the ones that the manager picks them more than they're being. Yeah, it's a funny one, but I captained Stoke a few times, captained Ireland a few times, and I was always the same when I played or wasn't captain. There's always a group of lads in the team as well who will help out the captain or like when I said when the boys came to Stoke, I'd always get on with everyone and always, how are you, how's your family, and this, that and the other, the kids, and you try and get everyone involved. Exactly what Lewis said, Steve, you want to create that culture and that environment that everyone wants to, because you're all pulling in the right direction.
And even though, for example, if you are not, they are not the ones are captain and leaders. I remember Luis Enrique, he wasn't even playing. He was first captain, but he wasn't playing. But that didn't matter to him. He was behaving exactly the same way. It was a meeting or it was a confrontation on the training, and he will stop and make everybody together to talk to them, to say, no, listen, this is not this way, this is that way. Or listen, we have to do this way. And he wasn't playing every single weekend. He was, I think, Puyol back in the time, the one he was captain. But Luis Enrique was behaving exactly if he was a captain.
So one of the roles of the captain then is to make players feel at home straight away. The other way that can happen is from the terraces, because Norwich now have a song for Buendia, which is, they've stolen your song.
Kind of, they did, yes, actually. No, I received a tweet saying, listen, Luis, I think they stole you. So I think it's a great lad. I know his father is working in Getafe as well. And I checked and I heard him last singing. I said, hold on a second, I think it's exactly the same song. I love my son, I have to say. And I always find that
you tweet about it all the time. Every time you hear it on television, you say
because I receive people messaging, even friends that they are watching the game. The other day when they were playing in Stamford Bridge. Yeah. They're traveling, we're singing this song. So I received a few of my friends saying, listen, they are singing. Because sometimes you are watching the game, but you're not listening the surroundings. So I stopped the voice and I started hearing the surroundings, but it's nice. And then I tweet, and I think it's quite nice to continue, even though that it's been 15 years that I haven't been there, to receive that caring of the people. And well, I'm honored, and hopefully it's for many years. So that's why I was a little bit angry when I heard that someone stealing my song.
He's flying the flag for you.
No, it's fine.
I've got the same with I've got the same with Joe Cole. So when he went to I think he left West Ham, went Chelsea. He had a Spandau Ballet.
Go on.
Yeah, gold, Spandau Ballet.
Yeah.
So
I thought you were going to sing for us.
I'm not going to sing it. But,
Cole.
Yeah. So basically, when I come to West Ham now, I kind of adopted that, but I didn't know myself. I didn't know it was Joe Cole's. I swear I didn't. I didn't know Joe. Yeah, that it was his song. But
it's not your fault though.
But now they've forgotten about Joe Cole, isn't they? So that's my song.
Yeah, that's it.
So Joe, you can do one, mate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we had, like at Stoke, we had it was a Liverpool song, but the Spanish lads came. We had Bojan, Mark Muniesa, and Joselu. And we had a song, and it was the La Bamba one, wasn't it?
La Bamba was, yes.
But when you have a song like that, it's catchy, the whole stadium starts singing. It's not just like a section of supporters.
No, the whole stadium.
It clicks on, it creates an atmosphere. So I know the big clubs have people that write songs for them and will plan songs out. I'm sure Liverpool do, because the songs are good.
Yeah, very good. I mean, their lyrics, they're proper songs.
They can hit the charts.
It creates an atmosphere, doesn't it? And I think it's good. I think it's like a unique thing that a club has.
Yeah.
But did you have a chant? It was a chant more than a song, wasn't
chant,
it?
Yeah. Not great.
What was it?
No, I'm not saying
I'm not going to... Well, you might want to say... Have you sung your own song?
Mine? What do you mean?
Have you sung the Garcia Sangria song?
If I did? Yes, I did. With my mates as well.
With a song about you, it gives you goosebumps, doesn't it?
It's like, if you think about that, a big crowd just get together just to sing your song while you're playing is something fantastic. I mean, it's not, and you don't see it everywhere. I mean, because here in England, you're used to seeing all the stadiums, even the different crowds in the same, they are singing a song to each other. That's brilliant, and we don't have that in Spain. I played in Mexico, I played in Spain a few years, and played in Greece. But to have that kind of songs where it's a lyric, there's a song, it's unbelievable.
But in Spain, it's different. You have those great songs at the beginning of the game, like the Barcelona one, and the songs that they went to Roma. They have a fantastic song at the beginning of the game, but it's not
during
It's not
the game.
sung
It's
during
not-
the game in the
no,
same
not
way.
exactly. They got songs for the players, but they are like say chants. They are not like proper songs, and it's a difference.
That's when we were talking about owners and stuff like that before. That's why fans are so important to clubs, and you're danger of losing that link, I think, with fans now, because football's turned into a business, already has, especially Premier League level. And some managers say they prefer the Championship because of the way the fans are, it's different. But you're in danger of losing that link with the fans, because ultimately the fans are the ones that are there for hundreds of years at the clubs, and the owners and the managers are only there for a short period of time usually. So I think that it's so important, as you said, especially in England, and the atmospheres that are created at grounds. There's nothing like it.
I went up to Celtic to play for a bit, and they adopted the song as well, so they were singing my song up there.
Could you understand them?
Yes, it was like different accent. It was a different accent, but I was like, I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. I know. I get the gist of the
But
song.
does it make you feel more at home?
Yeah, it does. It does. So when I was like, I couldn't believe they were doing it, to be honest. Like, so I was really taken back by that, and it made me have a little affinity with the fans straight away, and it made me feel at home.
Another one where we were warming up at Liverpool, but Charlie Adam signed for Stoke, and he was getting a song sung at him. But I joined in with the Liverpool fans, and Charlie was the nice one, not being a big. And, I was
He's
just
slim
laughing.
now. I've seen him lately. He's slim. He's not ready.
He just looks big.
Yeah,
You're not going to be a player that. You're not going to be big, are you? But they were all like singing at him, and I was joining in, but I was laughing. But then I had a little thing with the Liverpool fans there, so it was quite good.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. I like them. There's a few good ones, but mostly I like the comments and things as well. But the songs are good fun. I quite like these Man United fans used to have to sing. You sing one about Nemanja Vidic. He comes from Serbia. He's going to murder you, which I thought is one of the best rhymes that I've heard.
Wow. Best rhymes.
Yeah,
Quite
It's a rap song. It's a rap song.
that is it for this week's Liquid Football from Joe, together with Paddy Power. Thanks very much to Jon Walters, to Luis Garcia, and to Carlton Cole. Liquid Football is back next Monday. Download the podcast or watch us on YouTube. And if you like it, please leave a nice review on iTunes or YouTube. We've also got a Facebook page. If you search Liquid Football, you can join in the chat there. And remember, you can check out our other shows: House of Rugby with James Haskell, TKO with Carl Frampton, and the brand new one out this week, Pioneers with John Amici.
You've been watching Liquid Football on Joe, sponsored by Paddy Power.